Hey everybody, what's up? It's Alex Shotland for the Love Music Shelter channel. So glad to see all of you back here today. If you've never stopped by my channel, welcome. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Love Music Shelter is all about promoting awareness for the homeless problem plaguing New York City and the rest of the country. When I first started working on this film, Love Music Shelter, there was 57,000 homeless people in New York City. And back then, 40% were teenagers and children. Fast forward 2 years, there's 62,000 people homeless, 47% are teenagers. We need to change this, people, because together, we can make the change we need. I've got a talented movement artist with me today. Now, back in the day, I thought a movement artist was a performance artist, but I'm here with Aarron, and he corrected me. And Aaron's gonna tell us a little bit about what he does and about his life. I know that Aarron was homeless for a time period, and he's one of my more inspiring stories because he successfully made it off the streets.
Hi everybody, my name is Aarron. I'm 28 years old and I'm from Washington, D.C. I came up here originally in early 2012 to go to school at FIT, which I graduated from.
So did I.
With a bachelor's in advertising and marketing. Performance art and movement art kind of like came later for me. It wasn't something that I set out to do. A lot of my background experience has been in fashion PR. So I kind of started off there, and just through a huge series of random events that happen in New York City, you kind of like go for one thing and find yourself in a complete opposite.
I think that's the story of like almost every person probably watching today. What led you onto the path of being homeless?
For me, like being homeless wasn't something I thought could actually happen to me, because when you really look at it overall, like I had kind of like a normal life. My family wasn't, extremely well off, but they weren't, extremely poor either. But around the time when I had graduated high school around 2007, my dad lost his job.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, he was like the breadwinner of the family, so once that kind of happened, it just like kind of plagued a bunch of events. By the time I'd stayed back at home and helped with, just like finances and paying for bills in the home, and I wanted to kind of work on my education again. When I started to think about going to school and I was really interested in going to FIT, I applied and got in. And had enough money saved to basically go there for that first semester. But, due to like unfortunate circumstances, like when I finally got into the city, I just literally had absolutely no money.
So what did you do?
So I just decided to, kind of like tough it out. And I stayed with a friend for a little while, but, it was kind of like one of those situations where it's like, it's not my home, and
right.
I'm staying
and it gets
with another
uncomfortable.
person.
I mean, there's
Absolutely.
a reason why people say, don't overstay your welcome. I know, I have house guests sometimes, and I'm like, okay, when are you guys gonna go home?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So what ended up happening was that I had to like basically ship all my things, like most of my things back home, so I only had like a backpack and a duffel bag. And I just like found myself like sitting outside and sitting in a park. And I just like kind of like, that was like the first moment that like I kind of realized that like, oh my God, like I don't have anywhere to stay.
I mean, that's the point. Nobody is immune to being homeless, and nobody ever chooses to be homeless.
No one chooses to be homeless, absolutely not, no. And the thing is like, during the time I'm like looking for work and looking for jobs, but it's such a competitive place in New York City, and it's like, for me also to like not have a place to go
take
like,
a shower and get
exactly,
organized.
yeah, it's
of
like,
course.
no one's gonna take you seriously when that's kind of like a part of, what they see. It was just very, very difficult and hard.
So what did you do? Like, how did you find the shelter that eventually you went to?
I was in the computer lab.
At FIT?
At FIT, yeah,
Okay.
because I still had my ID card, so I could kind of go in there, and like I would store my belongings, just like I would take them with me. I ended up like finding out about this homeless shelter that was in Manhattan, and I said, I have nowhere else to go. I can't
Right.
just like walk around all day.
And that must have been like heartbreaking for you, kind of humiliating and
Yeah,
like kind of dehumanizing to be a college student and then find yourself on the street, right?
Yeah, I mean, I felt so ashamed.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to tell people that was like
Right.
the issue, the problem that I had.
And you're
'cause I
probably
felt like I would be
proud,
judged.
like you're like, okay, like.
Pride definitely got in the way.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because in our film, Love Music Shelter, the heroine Sam, she's 15 and she's homeless and she's going to a fancy charter school in the city. And she spends most of the film hiding the fact that she's homeless from her friends.
It's only normal for people to kind of react that way, I feel like, you know.
Course.
It's like, especially within our society, we want to be able to be proud of the things that we're doing. And when you don't really have anything to show, you almost feel like you don't compare to what other people are doing.
You're not measuring up.
Yeah.
So tell us about the shelters.
It's extremely dangerous. It was probably one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had in my life. You walk inside and I mean, you know, you have people who have mental illness problems. You have people who are just got out of prison.
Oh boy.
You know, some people who like this has been their entire lives and like
they're just like in the system.
They're just in the system, and people like bring in drugs. There's like a huge weapons problem. As soon as you go inside, I mean, like they have like metal detectors and they're checking you like in every single place and area.
Were you assaulted? Did anything happen to you?
Thankfully, I was not assaulted. But by the time I got like checked into the major homeless shelter that I was in Bed-Stuy, that one was extremely scary because in the first one, for the night, they gave me like a singular room. But as they push you further into the system, like there's no such thing as privacy anymore, or even like a private moment or a private room.
Right.
It's one gigantic room with 30 beds and 30 lockers, and that's what you get.
You know, that is what I've been noticing from all my research and from volunteering at places like The Door, where I'm learning about that, and I just can't believe it. So tell me, how did you end up getting out of there?
I was working at Nike at the time. I was
While
working
you were
at Nike.
homeless?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I finally found a job, which was kind of like, you know, a great part about it. But yeah, so I started to work at Nike. And I saved up money, and a few friends back home in DC, like, you know, they kind of like found out about what was happening and what was going on, and they kind of like fronted me a little bit of money just to like kind of help me get out of there.
Do you find that being LGBT in a shelter is harder than being straight?
I would say definitely first, absolutely. Like there was a heightened sense of danger because of the fact that I was gay. While I was in like in the room with the 30 beds and the 30 lockers, there was a guy who slept right on my left, and one of the people that I met like during the time had ended up telling me that guy was moving out, and because I didn't see him for like the next couple of days.
Right.
And he ended up telling me, he was like, that guy moved out because like he knew you were gay, and if he stayed in there any longer, he was gonna like hit you, like he was gonna smash your head open while you were sleeping.
Oh my! What can be done to make the shelter safer, in your opinion?
I mean, there needs to be more counseling and more people who are involved in actually getting to know these people's specific stories. Everyone's there to just, you know, kind of like collect a check and just like put you through the system.
You need a little bit more personalized services and more one-on-one counseling, right?
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully we're going to be raising awareness through this channel, through the movie Love Music Shelter. So we're going to be donating proceeds of profits from the film to homeless shelters and to organizations to help people that have been in your position and to people that are still in your position. So do you want to introduce the clip for us and we can show our viewers what's happening with you, Aarron?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a movement artist. What I usually do is I deal with natural and obscure body movements in order to tell a story. And this video is a clip that I just recently shot, and it's called Penitence.
All right, Aarron, let's see what you got. Wow. That's so thought-provoking. You look great on film. It's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
I love it. Bravo. And everyone out there, thanks for showing up and checking out the Love Music Shelter channel. Remember, arts heal, and no one ever chooses to be homeless. So if you like what you saw today, give us a thumbs up. Hit us up with it. Hashtag Love Music Shelter, Instagram, tag us, love us. Give me your comments. I want to hear your stories. I need to hear those stories. Together we can make the change. I'm Alex Schottland for the Love Music Shelter channel. Peace.